friends, my name is Jayant. Welcome to Maths with Jayant. In this video, we are going to talk about the circumference and area of a circle. We will going to learn about them. In our previous video, we had talked about circles. What are circles? We have discussed circles, parts of a circle, everything in our previous video. Radius, diameter, circumference, chord, arc, etc. In this video, we are going to learn how do you calculate two very important parameters that are circumference and area. So, what do you mean by circumference? So, let me draw a circle. So, let me draw a small rough circle. Let us suppose this is an exact circle. I make a person over here. This is a person, let's name this person A. This person is going around like this, around the whole border, and he reaches back. How much distance has he walked? Actually, once you see this length, how much he has walked, it will be the perimeter of the circle, right? That the circumference is nothing but the perimeter of a circle. It's a special name for it. And area means how much space the circle is occupying. On this whole whiteboard of mine, how much space is my circle occupying? For the calculating that, we will talk about area and that. So let us start with today's video. Now let us talk about pi, pi. What do you mean by this? Pi is a very important, mysterious and interesting number. Now this pi is going to be very important. It is used in lots of calculations. So let us understand this. So pi is actually a number. And this number is actually a ratio. Ratio means a fraction. So pi is the ratio of something. But the ratio of what? Pi is the ratio of any circle's circumference to its diameter. So, as the circumference of a circle, we've already discussed what circumference is. The circumference divided by the diameter. Diameter is the length from one point to another, which passes through the center of the circle. So it becomes pi is equal to circumference by diameter. The ratio is the circumference by diameter will give you pi. Okay. And this pi, this number, gets its own symbol as well. How does its symbol look? Now it's a bit different how people write it. But pi symbol looks something like this. This is how pi symbol looks. I'll just draw it a bit better. Like this. Yeah. So this is how pi looks. So pi is the ratio of any circle circumference to its diameter. And no matter a small circle or a big circle, for any circle, I'll draw a small circle here or a big circle here. For any and every circle, the ratio of the circumference and its diameter will be the same. You will, once you divide the circumference with the diameter, you will get the same value irrespective of the size of the circle. It could be this small or this big, anything. Okay? Now, what value do you actually get when you divide the circumference by diameter? We get the value 22 by 7. 22 by 7. This value is equal to pi. Okay, so 22 by 7, this ratio of circumference to diameter. Once you divide the circumference by diameter, you will get this number. And this number is pi, pi. So this fraction is the fractional form of pi. Now, actually, this you would see, or you would see a decimal form as well. Decimal form is 3.14. 3.14. So, what have we discussed? That pi is 22 by 7 or 3.14. Actually, no. This 3.14 is pi rounded off to its first two digits. Because actually pi's value will never end. It will never end. I'll just create pi's value is something 3.141592653 something. This value will go on forever. It will go on forever. Okay? And there won't be any pattern. You won't find any 2.333, no. It will be as as random as you could see it over here. 3.1415926535. It's very random. So 3.14 is just pi rounded off to 2 digits, and 22/7 as well as an approximation. Both these values are good enough for calculations. So this is the real value of pi, but we don't need so accurate. For simple calculations, we use 22/7 or 3.14. And this is about pi. Let's move on to now actually calculating our circumference in area. So let's revise till now what we've learned. What have we learned? We've learned about pi. And what have we learned about pi? Pi is the ratio of a circle's circumference to its diameter. Right? I have said this statement. So can I make two more statements? What I mean by that? Once this is equal, I can cross multiply this and this. Now over here there's nothing, so circumference will be here and this pi and d will get multiplied. The circumference is equal to pi d, and I could write diameter as 2 times radius, right? So I'll switch this diameter with 2 times radius, pi into 2 times radius, which once I multiply I will get something like this, 2 pi. So this we get. Circumference is equal to 2 pi r. If you are given the radius, you multiply it by 2, then multiply that by pi. What is pi? 22/7 or 3.14. So you get the radius, you multiply that by 2 and then that by pi. Or if you are given the diameter, you just directly multiply by pi. Don't need to take care of this 2. So this is about circumference. Circumference is equal to 2 pi r. Let's try solving some questions on circumference. So our questions are on the board. Let's start solving. So we have our first and second question, and I've written the formulas that circumference is equal to 2 into pi into r. And remember, pi is equal to 22/7 or 3.14. Let's start solving our questions. What's our first question? Radius equals 14 centimeter. How do we solve this question? So what is our formula? We need to find the circumference. Circumference is equal to 2 pi r. So what I do is circumference is equal to 2 pi r, which is equal to 2 into pi. I'll use is 22/7 into radius is 14 centimeter. This is what is given to us. Correct? So 1 7s are 7, 2 7s are 14. I cancelled. Now 2 22s are 44, 44 2s are 88. So our circumference is going to be 88 centimeter. So this is how we calculate the circumference of a circle. If we are given the radius, we multiply that by 2 and that by pi. Pi is 22/7 or 3.14. Let's try solving our second question. Over here, diameter is equal to 10 centimeter. We will apply circumference is equal to 2 pi r. No, don't use 2 pi r here. Why? Because over here there's the radius and over here we are given the diameter. You remember circumference is equal to pi into diameter, right? And this also we could see over here because 2 times radius gives us diameter. So circumference is equal to pi into diameter. So what I'll do? Let's use pi as 3.14 here into diameter is 10 centimeter. This when I solve, the decimal point moves one place to the right, I get 31.4 centimeter. So if my diameter is going to be 10 centimeter, then the circumference would be 31.4 centimeter. Okay, let me ask you a question here. You might be thinking, how did you decide where to use 22/7, where to use 3.14? Now, why when I use 22/7 in one place and 3.14 in the other place? Which one am I supposed to use in a question? So this here, suppose you are given the length of the radius or diameter and you are given a multiple of 7. Like 14 comes in the table of 7, right? Then it's a good option and a better option to go with 22/7. Why? Any idea? Because we can cancel. That will make a calculation easier. Look, over here you see I cancelled. Over here you could have used 3.14, but that would become 3.14 into 28. That would involve more calculation. Or suppose in this case, over here it's not a multiple of 7, then I'd suggest you to go with our normal 3.14. 3.14 we'll use over here. Because if we use 22 by 7, nothing will cancel. We'll have to do more calculations. That would become 220 by 7. Then we have to divide them. Either way you won't get your wrong answer, but it's up to you. It's like a smart style, which one you want to use. Okay? And in some questions they mention use pi as this, use pi as that. So if I am given use pi as 22 by 7, pi is equal to 3.14. In any of these cases you will use the value given to them. If not, both are okay. Now let's move on to area. Now let us talk about the area of a circle. How do you figure out how much space the circle is taking on your paper or on a plane? What I mean by plane? Not the aeroplane. This is plane, like the whiteboard is a plane. So how much area does my circle take? How will I figure that out? For figuring that, we use the formula area of a circle is equal to pi times the radius squared. Okay, remember this formula. To calculate the area of any circle, you are going to do, we multiply pi with the radius squared. So you'll square the radius and multiply that by pi. Now you might be wondering why such a silly formula? Why did this formula come? How did this formula come? For understanding the proof of this formula, you can wait for our next video. But for now, we need to know that area of any circle is equal to pi times radius squared. Okay? Let us try one or two questions. Let us solve our first question. Let us say the radius of a circle is equal to 7 meter. So, calculate its area. We already know area of any circle is equal to pi r square. With this formula, I'll put in our values. Pi is equal to 22 by 7. So radius squared. What does square mean? Square means r squared means r into r. 2 squared means 2 into 2. 3 squared means 3 into 3. 4 squared means 4 into 4. Similarly, r squared means r into r. And you can know more about exponents from watching my videos about them. So this r squared means r into r. That means 7 meter into 7 meter. Right? 1 7 or 7, 1 7 is 7. So this whole thing got cancelled. Now what we need to do? Just 22 into 7. 22 sevens are 154. 154 meter squared. Because meter is being multiplied by meter. Meter squared. Make sure the unit. So if the radius is 7 meter, then its area is going to be 154 meters squared. Let's solve our next question. Question number 2. The diameter of the circle is 20 meter. Let's take 20 meter. How will you calculate its area? Remember, area is going to be pi times radius squared. Area is pi r squared. Pi r squared. Put in the values. 22 by 7 into radius squared. Wait, caution. Over here we are given the diameter and over in the value we have to put the radius. Now what should we do? Over here the easiest is we are given the diameter, find the radius, no? Diameter is 20 meter. The radius of the circle would be 10 meter, right? Because radius is half of diameter and half of 20 is 10. So radius is 10 meter. Now we can multiply 22 by 7 into 10 into 10. Now look over here, nothing can get cancelled, right? Nothing can get cancelled. So I need to multiply 22 with 10 into 10 and then divide it by 7. And other than that, the easier option is don't use 22 by 7, just use 3.14, right? So this is why we choose where to use 22 by 7 or where to use 3.14. So 3.14 into 10 into 10. 10 tens are 100. Now I need to multiply 3.14 with 100. The decimal point will shift 2 places. This will become 314 meters squared. Okay, so the area of the circle where the diameter is 20 meter is going to be 314 meters squared. Now we have discussed how to calculate area as well. We will not stop here. Let us solve one or two word problems to understand circumference and area of circles better. Now let's solve our first question, which is already on our screen. So what's our question? Find the circumference of the circular region. Circular region just refers to circle, whose area is 616 square meters. So this is given to us. We need to find a circumference. We are just given the area. We need to find the circumference. How will we do this? See, what do we need for finding the circumference? We need the value of the radius to find the circumference. And look at area. We square the radius and multiply it by pi, then we'll get this, right? So from our area I can figure out the radius, and then from the radius I can figure out the circumference. So first of all, I'm given area is equal to 616 meters squared, right? Now what am I given as my area? I'll substitute it with pi r square. Both of them are equal, right? So I can do that. I can say pi r square is equal to 616 meters squared. Now this pi, we are given use pi as 22 by 7. Very important thing. Over here, if we use the value 3.14 anywhere in this question, then the value will go wrong. Therefore, we will be using 22 by 7. So this becomes 22 by 7 r squared is equal to 616 meters squared. Right? So this becomes, I would take this 22 by 7 to the other side and leave radius squared alone. Why? Our main aim is to find the radius. 616 meters squared into 7 by 22. This becomes our next part. I could cancel 22. I'll have done it by 2. This becomes 11. And this, once I divide by 2, I get 308. Now this I can fully cancel. 11 ones are 11 and 28. Yeah, 28 11s gives us 308. All we are left with is now 28 into 7. 28 into 7 is 196 meters squared. Right? 196 meters squared is our radius squared. So our radius is equal to the square root of 196 meters squared. Why square root? What do you mean by square root? What is this root? From where did this come? Let's understand what root is. Root means we need to figure out, what does the square root mean? This means I need to figure out a number that I can multiply that same number 2 times. I can multiply that same number 2 times to get 196. So once I see this sign, I need to understand, I need to figure out a number that I can multiply 2 times to get 196. And we have a whole video on the roots as well. You could watch that to know more about the roots. So square root of 196 meters squared. This will just become 14 meter. Because 14 meter into 14 meter gives us 196 meters squared. Is our question over? No. Our main thing is to find the circumference. Let me make it here. So our circumference's formula is equal to 2 pi r, right? Agreed? So this becomes 2 into pi is equal to 22 by 7 into radius is 14 meter we calculated. So I'll put into 14 meter. 177 2 7s are 14. 2 2s are 4. 4 into 22 gives us 88. This becomes 88 meter finally. So the circumference of the circle is equal to 88 meter. Our final answer will be 88 meter. Let's solve our next question. Let's solve our second question. What's our second question? The diameter of a circular garden is 42 meter. That is a circular garden. Its diameter is 42 meter. What's the cost of fencing it? What's the cost of fencing it at rupees 25 per meter? There should be a question mark at the end. Okay. So this is our question. The diameter is 42 meter. So what's the cost of fencing this part? At the cost of 25 per meter. How will we solve this question? Now one thing you need to note. Whenever they use the word fencing, that refers to the circumference of the circle. Will you fence all inside the garden in its whole area? Nobody will be able to walk then, right? Fencing is around. So we are going to find the circumference. So our circumference is equal to 2 pi r. No, over here we are given the diameter. So circumference is equal to pi d. We multiply pi with diameter. Now let's find something. Over here pi I could use as 22 by 7. Again, I could use the diameter's length as 42 meter. Another thing we could agree on. So 7 and 42 I could cancel. This becomes 22 into 6. So in meter, 2 6 are 12, 1 is 13. We get 132 meters as the diameter of our garden. 132 meters we get. Is that a question? No. This our question is, what is the cost of fencing it at rupees 25 per meter? What are they asking here? See, now they need to fence this entire garden. We figured out the length, how much they need to fence. They have told that 1 square meter they will take 25 rupees. So how much rupees will they take for 132 meters? We can multiply. For 1 meter is 25 rupees. So for 132 meters it would be 132 into 25. That much rupees. So therefore we could say cost of fencing the garden, cost of fencing is equal to 132 into 25. This much rupees. Now can I solve this? Let us use some rough work over here. 132 times 25. So 5 2s are 10, 1, 5 3s are 15, 16, 1, 5 1, 6. We get 660, right? So now let's put across. 2 2s are 4, 2 3s are 6, 2 1s are 2. So this we add will become 1, 7, 6, 13, 3. So we get 3,300 rupees. This is going to be our cost of fencing the entire garden. Let's solve our last question now. So let's solve our last question. So what our last question is? What is it? So the question is, find the cost. We have another cost question like the previous one. Find the cost of polishing. Polishing means area, because we won't polish the borders, right? We will polish the entire surface. So find the cost of polishing the top surface of a circular dining table of diameter 1.4 meter. Right? If the rate of polishing is 200 rupees per meter square. Okay? This is our question. We have understood the question. Now you might be wondering, why did I choose area? Where else am I supposed to choose area for this question? See, whenever we have the topic of fencing we do in the borders. We won't do it in our entire garden, right? Or entire thing. So fencing, bordering, something like that would have area, will have circumference in it. But concepts like polishing, then we have blowing, digging, tiling, all these we need to do it in the entire space. Therefore, we do area. First of all, so we will find the area of this, and then once area we will multiply it by 200, just like how we had done for circumference. Area is equal to pi r square. Pi times our radius square. Agree? So pi I'll use is 22 by 7. Okay? Radius. Okay. Don't make this mistake. Diameter is 1.4 meter. Therefore, radius will be 0.7 meter. Don't put in 1.4 meter. So this becomes 7 by 10. I am writing 0.7 as 7 by 10 meter into 7 by 10 meter. No problem in that. Now 7 and 7 fully cancels. So what we've got now is 22 into 7 divided by 10 into 10, which is just 100. So this becomes this much meter square. I'll actually 10 tens are 100. Let's keep it here. Now cost of polishing, right? So how do we find the cost of polishing? So cost of polishing, what we will do is, we will find the area multiplied by 200 because this much meter square. If 1 meter is 200, then this much meter square would be this much into 200. So cost of polishing will be 22 into 7 by 100, right? Into 200. Now this into 200 I could write in our numerator. So this is the figure that we've got. 100 is 100, 200 is 200. So this becomes 22 into 7 into 2, which is, I could write as 44 into 7. 44 into 7 is 308. So this becomes 308 rupees, right? So this is how we will solve our questions. So hope you like my video on circumference and area of a circle. In our next video, we will discuss the visual proof. That means why area of a circle is pi r square. We will discuss that, how I've already mentioned. So hope you like my video. Bye. Thank you very much.